Hey everyone, how's your day been? Actually, tell me, I'd like to hear about it. Personally, as of this recording, I just finished my sophomore year in high school, so with that being said, wish me luck, Welcome to my analysis of the unlockable memories in Nintendo's latest hit, Breath of the Wild. My personal favorite game, probably of all time. I mean, seriously, I haven't even been able to put it down since March 3rd, except when I had to, when a volleyball Texas smashed me onto the floor literally like 5 days after I got the game, but, another video. Before we start, I'm gonna go ahead and just put it out there. This is a spoiler warning. I definitely talk a lot about just like the entire story of Breath of the Wild, things that happen not only in the first memory, but other memories and just, all that jazz. Let's go ahead and start with the very first memory chronologically. When you go into the menu, it's called Subdued Ceremony. Now, I had to go ahead and search what subdued actually meant, because even though I'm an honor student in the American public education system, it isn't doing me much justice. Subdued, of a person or their manner, quiet and rather reflective or depressed. Okay, so now that we know what that means, everything comes together a bit more clearly. The memory starts with Zelda reciting what we can assume is a formal knighting speech to the one chosen to protect the princess. She speaks half-heartedly, which we know later is partly because even though the legend states that the calamity needs to be fought with the combined power of the hero and the sealing power, which does end up happening, for those of you who have played the game, Link doesn't defeat the calamity all by himself. Zelda still has to seal him away in the end. They only have the hero's power at this point, and Zelda is still struggling to find a power at the end of the day. Looks like it isn't going to manifest on time. Looking at Link, who now has to bear the burden of saving all of Hyrule by himself, who went into the Royal Guard as an inherited status from his family, has a trauma and a bit of issue that leaves him very quiet, that doesn't get any better with this burden, and on top of that is not much older than Zelda herself, if we go by how old teen Link usually is from previous games, which would be 17 or his late teens at the most. So yeah, I'd say the champions have a right to feel a bit piss poor in this flashback. As Zelda drones on, Daruk makes a comment stating the obvious. I mean, thank you, Daruk, she's 16. I wouldn't expect her to have a very positive outlook on the situation. And Rivali gives us information that this was in fact Daruk's idea to begin with. In other memories, we can tell Daruk has the kind of personality that gets others' attention. He is loud and confident in what he says, making him an excellent leader in terms of the social structure within the champions. Daruk isn't even the leader of the Gorons, not to my knowledge at least. The wiki states he is a Goron warrior, and he was probably just a high-ranking officer at that. All the champions have political and military experience. Even though Zelda is the one supposed to be commanding them alongside the hero, Daruk does seem to be that shallow step down in terms of ranking, and Urbosa follows close behind, as we will see, when she speaks up in her part. Yet he has so much influence over the champions, going as far as to motivate them as soon as the calamity strikes in the Lineru memory. Back to Rivali's comment about how the ceremony was his idea. Knowing what I know about Daruk, it was probably an honest attempt to lift the spirits of everyone. Every single one of the champions is either royalty or a high-ranking citizen of their race. Formalities like these are familiar sights, and making Link's authority and importance a little bit more concrete and organized was probably an attempt to give the situation more stability and to give the champions more confidence and assurance that this wouldn't be a hopeless battle. I can see Daruk's train of thought. Organization and routine is very important to people. We crave routine. It's what makes us go forward and keeps us mentally sound. Following formalities, at least loosely, keeps routine and tradition, as opposed to throwing a mute kid, not even officially appointed as the sword's counterpart, at some of the most important individuals of each race. Rivali, already not liking Link, says he doesn't see the point of this. He thinks it's stupid and is kinda acting like an angsty teen at the end of his rope. He wants to get back to preparing for a day that's on their doorstep and not wasting time in formalities. We can also note that Rivali isn't royalty, and it's possible that his status is achieved, something he worked for, which would explain a little bit more why he doesn't like Link, because of him being born into the family of the Royal Guard. He was born with the opportunity to become a higher class citizen without having to work for it, in his eyes at least. If you have read Zelda's diary in her bedroom, there's evidence to contradict this, as Link wouldn't be mute if his life was a walk in the park for him. We'll be learning more about the champions as the new DLC rolls out in the future, so hopefully we'll get more more on, like, Rivali's insight for being a jerk. Urbosa shuts down the minor conflict and gives them both some explanation as to why the 16-year-old girl is not as thrilled about this as they had hoped. Basically what I said earlier about not being able to perform the duty you were born to do, and also that duty being to save your entire kingdom, plus your kingdom also thinks you're going to suck at your job as a monarch. And by the way, I say 16 because Zelda isn't technically 17 until the day of the calamity, which actually really sucks to have the world end on your birthday. Zelda, honey, I'm sorry. Like, Jesus. It's important that, God. It's important that Urbosa actually speaks up in this situation, because not only does it give us some insight on her character for the first time, but it shows us that Urbosa understands better than anyone why Zelda is acting the way she is towards Link. It's not hate and envy like Rivali, but more of a type of angst against herself. Urbosa is in a unique position where she and Zelda have a relationship that no other champion has with her. The Gerudo champion is a maternal figure to Zelda in a way, and this of course is evident in future memories that I won't bother touching in this video, but just think about it. Urbosa is the monarch of a female-only race, and Zelda is the only female monarch after her mother's death, so it makes sense that they would spend a lot of time together. Hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. Feel free to make comments and share your opinions and theories with me. I'd love to see what you have to say. Thanks for watching. I look forward to making more videos like this, and I hope you look forward to watching them.